Hello, friends. At the offset, let me apologize for how my voice sounds because I'm suffering from a moderate cold. Uh, so I may sneeze, may not have the time to edit it, but kindly bear with me. So, friends, it's been more than 2.5 months since we have been, bringing out this series from the WhiteSpace Bookshelf, and we have talked about 10 books. So it's after the first month or so that the people started watching those videos, and when I was meeting them, they say, yeah, we watch unprovoked, we watch through your videos. It's a good series you bring out, uh, and that's encouraging. But then 1 out of 10 say, yeah, we bought the book and we read that book. That was a nice recommendation. So yes, between watching and reading, there is still a gap. But if we say that even that one person, 1 out of 10 buys the book and utilizes, that's good enough to start with. Now, typically, when interacting with so many people, uh, there are barriers to reading, right? The basic barriers which come out for the first one is time or the lack of it between the whole workday, where do we get the time to actually read? You know, we spend hours in commute. It's better to listen to something or watch. You can't read in a moving vehicle. Then there are mails, there are WhatsApps, and work never ends. So time or the lack of time is definitely one. Number two is that even if we want to read, yeah, we understand the importance of reading. The second is the second barrier is, can there be a summary? And that's why shorts, headways, book summaries, they are gaining a lot more popularity, because yes, we are in a distracted world, and we want to read something in summary. The third, which is not said, uh, but it is there, that after a whole day of work, when your brain is uh, stretched in all directions, one doesn't want to maybe go into more of management and corporate gyan. It seems like a work related burden. Your brain, you feel that you cannot take more gyan than normal. Yes, I totally understand, because there are times when you need to take a break, when after the whole day of working meetings, last thing is you want is more gyan. So these three barriers: time, distraction, and apprehension of corporate gyan, are the three biggest barriers to prevent us from reading. And yet, friends, I keep on telling, reading is the fuel for your mind. Please, I heard this famous motivational speaker who always talked about that irrespective of however busy we are, we will always have time to fill fuel in our vehicle, because we know without that the vehicle will not go. Even if we are rushing to an emergency, we will find the time to fill the fuel in the tank. So, as I said, reading is fuel for the mind, and it is a habit, especially to the younger people who are younger, middle management, who are who still have a long career. I would always say, please do invest in reading, because reading, as I always say, is very, very active. It's an active participation. It's not a passive consumption of watching a video, including this one. It's a very active one. You're reading, you're reflecting, and that helps to stretch your thinking. So today, I'm going to, the three barriers I talked about: time, distraction, subject of apprehension of subject. Let me recommend you a book which actually addresses all these three barriers. Deal? Are you okay if I introduce a book to which helps you reduce these barriers, which helps actually address these three barriers? If yes, then Terribly Tiny Tales is for you. Look at the book. I will say, Vikram, this is such a thick book. You said this will address the barrier. I again repeat, Terribly Tiny Tales. Friends, this is a book which, let me start with the subject. What is the subject of this book? Each of these pages has one story. Now, when we think at a story which is in 140 characters roundabout, what we know is 140 characters, we can think, some inspirational quotes. We've all seen quotes, we've seen, proverbs. We are familiar with that. But can you imagine a story being presented in a concise 140 approx characters. This is terribly tiny tales. So these are stories. Number two, your distraction. How much time does it take to read a story? Few seconds, right? And number three, time. I think a few seconds of your time, one story a day, is not too much to ask for. Let me share with you some samples of these stories. I'm picking at random, I've not marked anything. He let go of her ashes in the Ganges. A year later, he slid an envelope in the same gushing water. The first paycheck had to go to mother. Their fingers met over the braille board. It was love at first sight. She jumps the barbed fence, laughing. I failed to catch up. The space between us grows. Her giggles linger in the air. A gunshot echoes. Leaving earth, no weight, heavy heart. I received your letter this morning. It has fine lines crafted with careful words. No ink blotches hiding careless truths. You haven't written it, have you? I like my coffee like I like my men, she always said with a cup. 4 waitings later, she had to admit that she really preferred tea. I mean, these are some of the stories. How much time did it take to read? And since I was reading them at one page, you would feel that it's part of the same thing. No, they're very, very different stories. So do yourself a favor. Do invest in the terribly tiny tales. This book I'm sure this book will ensure that you start reading. One story takes a few seconds to read, but it will definitely stay with you more than the few seconds. So friends, thank you so much for watching these videos. Please do like, subscribe, and I would request you that do forward it to your network of personal and professional networks, so that they also pick up this wonderful habit of reading. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.